Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today I thought we would do a different card, a card that is for springtime. We're in the depths of winter at the moment. We've had rain and flooding and snow and all sorts of things going on. And I thought we would do a card that would cheer us all up and something that again is just a little bit different, but hopefully will be fun. So the first thing you need to do is you need to have, I've used the stitch shaped framelets, and I use them quite a lot because you've got circles, you've got ovals. We used the oval the other day for a mask, and we've got squares. Now, this time I've used the two smallest of the squares. And what you need to do is you need to take whatever the size of your inside card is. So when you have your card that you're going to work on, you then have a mat behind, which is 1/4 of an inch bigger. That's the size you want. So for me, this piece measures 3.5 by 5.25, but whatever size is right for you. And then you are going to, easiest way, you put your die in at the top and you work out your 1/4 of an inch border round and you die cut it out. You then turn it round so it's the other way and you die cut the small one again looking at your border, so 1/4 of an inch round. Then you take your second size up and you take that so that that is in the middle. So you've got that in the middle on either side. So you're using the two dies to give you 3 shapes, one large and 2 small, and working out down the side. Doesn't matter if you're not absolutely accurate. You can measure it if you want. You can eyeball it, which is what I do. And as I say, if it's not absolutely perfectly accurate, it really doesn't matter that much because it's a handmade card. So we then need to take our piece, which is going to be 1/4 of an inch wider. And again, this is in Whisper White or Basic White if you've got it. And I'm doing a card today which is using stamp sets that we have probably already got. I know particularly if we're in the UK at the moment, we are having problems with getting our deliveries through to us because of all of the things that have been happening. So our orders aren't arriving as quickly. So don't forget all the things that you already have. So we're going to line it up on here and then we're just going to take a pencil, okay? And we're going to mark in the corner of each one and then in the center as well, so that it just gives us an indication of where we are going to stamp. And I do it in the center as well because then that gives me exactly where I want to be able to work with. So I'm just taking it in the corner, in the center, and then in the center on there. Okay, so then when we take it out, hopefully you might be able to see there's your little marks in there so you can see where you're going. Now obviously it doesn't matter on here if you end up going, so when I've got it, if you end up going over here or over here, but it does over here because you don't want anything to come over onto this little border. So that's just sort of a little bit of a tip for you. Then we are going to take some sponge daubers, and you can take whatever colours you want. Now, I find that my sponge daubers normally still have colour on them. So I want to have a blue at the top. So I'm going to take this one out, which has got some blue. Let me have a look. This should be Pool Party. So I'm just going to, with the sponge dauber, take it through. Let me get some Pool Party out because there's not quite enough on the sponge here. So I've got some Pool Party ink on this one, and I'm literally just going to sponge over here. You want it to be fairly light because you don't want the background to overwhelm what we're doing with it, but just literally keeping within those little dotty lines that you've done, and just use a sponge dauber. This really isn't suitable for your blending brush because you can't get it accurately within the little squares that we want it. So that's going to come in the Pool Party like that. So you're just sponging it through. Then I need to use, I want to use something quite pale, so I'm using So Saffron. So again, I don't think I've got a So Saffron sponge dauber ready, so I'm just taking one on here, and this is going to be the larger one. So again, just taking it through. I can take it off on here a bit and just sponging it through, quite pale, because again we don't want the colour to be too bright on here. I've just re-inked my So Saffron, so it's probably a little bit brighter than I would normally do it with, but it'll work. So I'm just doing that around on that area, and then the bottom one we are going to have in Pear Pizzazz. So I've chosen fairly light colours. I don't want things that are too bright, and this bottom one we're going to do in the Pear Pizzazz. So we've got sort of blue, yellow and green. That one I think should be Pear Pizzazz. So just take that, and that's this little one down here. So again, just quite lightly, just sponge it over in the Pear Pizzazz. And you can do all sorts of things with this sort of pattern. You can take colours, you can put designer series paper at the back, you can do all sorts of things really. It's not it's nothing particularly new, but it's just a nice sort of technique to give what we're going to have as this really sort of nice spring-like card. Make sure I don't put that over my mask piece of my table. Okay, so now we've got our pale colours on. We're now going to start using some stamp sets. So I am going to use, the first one I'm going to use is one that I've had for a long time, Snowfront, because I want these little trees, and I want this little piece, which is the snow, is going to be the blossom on the trees. So we're going to take this one out, and it comes as a 2, but we're not going to necessarily use both of them. We are in the middle, but not on the other. So this is the, make sure I've got that sort of fairly near in the centre. There we go. And then move my pencil out of the way. And then we're going to use Smoky Slate because we want this to be quite pale on the back. So I'm going to ink it up in Smoky Slate. I'm going to stamp it first just to see how dark that is. Okay, I'm going to take it second generation. So I'm going to stamp it down once, and then I'm going to take it down, and I'm bringing it just below on there. So you've got a nice sort of pale piece in here. Then this one, I'm moving it this way because I don't want it to touch the edge there. And I'm going to put this little one in there like that. And then again on the top, I'm going to bring it the other way round and bring it out in that direction. Okay, so we've now got some nice little sort of trees coming through in the background. And then I'm going to, let me clean this off with my Simply Chamois. Then I'm going to take the piece that looks like the snow, and we're going to use that as, let me just put this in here, we're going to use that to give us some blossom, because I want this to be a spring card, because as I say, we're coming into springtime. So I'm just going to put that in the center. I'm going to take the Blushing Bride, which again is a lovely colour, and I'm going to ink it up, and again I'm stamping it off because I don't want it too bright. So stamp it off. And then I'm going to do this middle one in exactly the same colour. So stamping it off. And just sort of literally dotting it about so it's the start of the little spring colours coming through. And then again just on the top one. So you've got the 3 different colours coming through. I might just do one down there, maybe one at the top. So you can get some little other ones coming through. I just wanted to try and get that up on there. So you've now got these little pieces that give you the blossom on there, which gives you that really nice sort of background. Now, you can leave it like that if you wanted to, and I will show you once we've put the panel piece over the top how that will look, and then how we are going to carry on in the spring. Now, if you're in the UK at the moment, we have some lovely bird programs going on. We have something which is called Spring Watch, and we look at all the little birds and things that are about. Now you can see how that really just makes a beautiful piece that goes on like that. However, we are going to use, now I have taken, so we used the snow front for this one. I've then used 2 bird stamps because, as I say, the Spring Watch program is all about the birds coming in the garden and the bird song. And the first birds to come in the garden are robins. So I've used the quite curvy, and I've just stamped these little birds and coloured them in as robins. So we've got some of those. Let's bring those in, the ones that I've coloured. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just colour them with blends, very simple. You can colour them with pencils, you can colour them with our inks, however you want to do them. So those are the little robins. Then I took the Free as a Bird, because we've got lovely birds in here, and we've got this big bird. I think this big bird's going to be too big, but I did him anyway. And these little birds, I have individually cut most of them out, and I've done those as little yellow hammers that are coming through. So I've just snipped those apart a little bit. And then I just did the big bird as a blue tit, but looking at it, it's going to be too big. It looks as if it's a giant bird, so we're not going to use that one. So these little birds, as I say, quite easily cut with blends. We're going to tuck them in underneath. Now, we can put this up with dimensionals. I'm not going to. I just want them to be as they are. So I'm going to have a bird. Let's have this one, I think, at the top there. And as I say, line it up first. Then I'm going to have the little one probably in here like that. And then we've got these little robins. And I'm going to tuck the robin in front. So you've got 2 little birds coming like that. Now, I'm going to do them with glue. So let's just start putting these up as we want. Now, because we've got several little birds, I'm not putting this bit down yet because, as I say, I want to be able to put these in underneath nicely. So I'm just taking just a little bit of wet glue and then popping that. Oh, my wet glue's a little bit juicy, but I'm just going to tuck one in underneath here like this and pop him down. Whoops, sliding about a bit. Want him to come in underneath my, oops, let's take this off. I don't want it stuck on. I've got a bit too much glue on here. Let me just wipe that off. Otherwise I'll make a right mess over the top. Okay, so I've got my little bird in there. And then we're going to have this little one in on the front. So this one is going to come in. Let me just take this in on here. So we want this one to come in just sort of underneath like that. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is going to come in. Let's put that on there. That's perfect. The second one's going to come in here. So we just need to do these ones. And then we can put that one down just so that it comes in below, sort of nicely in the center, like that. Then we've got this one at the top, and I need to have they're facing this way. That one is facing that way, but I think I'm going to have this one coming in over the top that way. Now let's just put this in over the top and see if that's how I want it. I definitely want, whoops. Yes, I think that that'll work. I might have to have this one down just a little bit. Let's put this one in first. So let's get a little bit of glue in on here. Put this just back in place roughly so I know where I want it. So this one's going to come in about there, like that. And then this one is going to, I want him coming out in the opposite direction. So I want him tucked down a bit, but I'm going to have him so he's cheaping up a bit and he's looking in the opposite direction, which I think will look quite good. And I know with a lot of things you do it in threes. However, with this, because it's a little tiny space, I think it actually looks quite good just done in a two. So I want him tucked down a bit and then just put back to about the, whoops, I need to make sure he doesn't come underneath on there. So just tuck him up just a little bit like that, and we'll put him in like that. Okay, so we've now got our little birds in on there, and then we can put this piece down. But I just want to do a sentiment in there. As I said, you can add some more birds if you want, but I think that that's probably about right. I don't think I want to add any more of the robins in. Let me just have a little look and see. I've got this one on that side. No, I don't. I just want to have it like that. I want it fairly sort of plain, just with the background sort of showing through. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece now and I am going to glue it down. So, say you can take it up with dimensionals to give some height if you want to. As I keep saying, most of my, well, all of my cards are posted now, because we can't meet people at the moment. So I'm sending out quite a lot of cards. And so they all go into the mail. And the smaller the postage, the better. So I just need to make sure that that's that way around, or is it that way around? I think it's that way, says me. I can't remember how I had it on there. So I just need to make sure that we've got it No, it is this way round. This is where you need to just do a little bit of preparation beforehand. So put this in on here, and I have noticed that the bottom of this one is just sticking in slightly, so I need to, before I stick this one down, is to just take those little feet off. Let's see if I can. Okay, so the little bird's feet I don't want on because it's just sticking in underneath, so I've just taken that off. Make sure I've got that straight. Take it down in here, and then you've got your panel piece that runs in along here, and then all you need to do is to take a sentiment. So we've used the snow front for the trees and the little blossom. We've used the free as a bird, and we've used the quite curvy with the little birds in there. And then for a sentiment, I'm going to use a touch of ink. So, you know, use all of your stamps in conjunction with each other. Don't just sort of think, oh, I've got one stamp set, I don't know quite what I'm going to do. You know, use it as all together. So mix and match things from one stamp set to the other, and you'll find that it gives you more ideas and plans and things. And I'm going to have this as a friend card, so I'm just going to use a little bit of black ink, and we're just going to put that in on the bottom there. Oh my goodness, I've got a bit too much. I didn't have that very straight, but that'll be fine. So I'm just going to have the hello friend in on here, like that. And then all we need to do is to put it onto a card base. Now I've got a white card base here, because you could put it onto a white card base. However, that does look a bit pale, so what I would do is take it with a colour that you want. So let me have a look. I haven't got any card bases cut. No, I would pick one that matched one of the colours in here. I'm just going to sort of show as an example. So you could have it with a pale on there. You could have it with I've got a piece of bright pink in on here, which again might look quite nice. But however you want to do it, I will sort something out and put it on the front picture of the video. But I just thought it was a nice idea to give these beautiful little birds and a really sort of spring feel with a Hello Friend card. So hope you enjoyed it. As always, please stay safe and well and be kind. Bye-bye.